Hi there, this is Dr. Linda, and today I'm just doing a short video on puppy feeding schedules. Now we've actually got quite a lot of articles already on the website that go into really quite a lot of detail on your puppy and their feeding schedule. So this is more answering kind of the top frequently asked questions. So I'm just going to go through those questions we hear time and time again from owners, and hopefully this will be helpful. So a lot of the time you bring your new puppy home and you're wondering, okay, I've got this bag of food, I know roughly how much to give, but when do I give it? So what I'd say is try and space meals out evenly. Normally when you get your puppy, they're 8 or 9 weeks old and you're feeding them generally about 4 times a day at that stage. So I'd say kind of aim for first thing in the morning, about a midday feed, 3 or 4 o'clock, and then just before bed. And your puppy will let you know, they might be asking for food before their meal, they might leave meals untouched and come back to them later. So work with their rhythm and just make sure they're getting the amount of food they're meant to be getting. As they get a little bit older, this will change. So normally by about 3 months, they'll drop a meal, and at 6 months, they'll drop another meal to about 2 meals a day. But it's dependent on the dog and their breed. Another question we get asked a lot is, can you underfeed or overfeed your puppy? Yes, especially depending on breed. So you can overfeed Labradors and Beagles for sure. And some dogs don't have an off switch when it comes to their appetite, and you do need to be more strict with these food-driven dogs. So that sometimes means measuring out portions, locking food away when they're not meant to be eating it. And of course, yes, you can underfeed your dog. So if you're not giving them the calories they need, they may become malnourished, they may not develop properly. So try and start with the feeding guide with those amounts and monitor your dog, because the guideline is just a guideline and it won't work for every dog. It is dependent on their genetics, their metabolism, their activity levels. So monitor your dog, make sure they're growing like they should be checking their body condition score, and make sure that it's where it should be. The next question is, if your puppy's not eating, what should you do? So what I'll say is, people have a different concept of not eating depending on who the person is. So for some people, a puppy not eating is a puppy not eating at all, not a single thing. For other people, a puppy not eating is one who's maybe leaving a little bit of food behind, or maybe skipping a meal but eating their other 3 meals. So what I'll say is puppies are really good at regulating how much they eat and when. So if they, if they decide that they don't want one of their meals, it's probably because they don't need it. Maybe they're not going through a growth spurt at that time. Maybe they've had a bit of a lethargic day, they've been a bit lazy. But if they're well in themselves and if they've eaten their other meals, it's probably not a big deal at all. Monitor, keep an eye on them, but don't get too concerned at that stage. If your puppy's really not eating, they're probably not well, but there will be other signs. So, maybe they're not wanting to go for their walks, maybe they have other symptoms like vomiting or diarrhea, a bloated tummy, and obviously that's cause of a concern. Puppies do need to eat very regularly, or they can develop low blood sugar, they can become dehydrated. So certainly you would want to go to your vet in that situation. And the next question is, when a puppy's sick, should you feed them chicken and rice? You might have heard this before. And certainly, yeah, so boiled white chicken, boiled white rice is a really bland and digestible meal, and can be useful to give if your dog's a bit under the weather, certainly. What I'll say is, when we say chicken and rice, we really mean just chicken and rice. I have had owners in the past who've added sauces and oils and butter. That's not something I would recommend doing. And then the final question is, when should a puppy be moved on to adult food? And this is variable. It depends mainly on their breed and when they're kind of fully grown or when they've finished maturing. And for small breed dogs, that could be as young as 9 months or so. Whereas for giant breed dogs, that could be as late as 2 years. So if you're not sure, do ask your vet. And of course, you can always email us and ask us as well. I hope that this has been helpful.